With some pretty happy hips, so if you've been sitting around all day or traveling, this video is perfect for you. Go ahead and check out some of the other amazing videos on the Alo Yoga YouTube channel and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. Starting in a downward facing dog, we're going to bring our hands shoulder distance, feet hip distance, and just take a few moments here, bend the knees, one knee then the other. And our right leg is going to lift to the sky, bend the knee, open your hip. We're going to draw some circles on the ceiling with our right knee. So you can go either way. We're going to do both. It's just 3 to 5 circles. The bigger the circles, the better. And switching directions. And inhale, reach that right leg all the way back up. And let's step the right foot forward in between the hands. Drop the left knee. And let's reach the hands to the sky. Bring the palms to touch. Sink your hips forward and down. And we're going to try to find some length in the spine as you open to the sky. See if you can add a slight back bend here, which is going to give you a nice deep stretch on the left hip flexor. Sending your gaze up. On your inhales, trying to get a little bit longer. On your exhales, sinking a little deeper. And let's gently release our hands down to the mat on the inside of the right leg. We're going to wiggle the right foot out to the right side. And you can either stay up on your hands or you can come down to your elbows if that feels better for you. And we're just going to make some hip circles. So you're just going to go around with your hips. And again, you can go either way. We're going to do both. Just giving our joints a little bit of love. And switching directions. Coming back into the center, just sink your hips down as deep as they can go here. We're going to turn our right toes out to the right side, roll over the outer edge of the right foot, just letting that right knee open up. You can take the right hand to the right knee and press it away from you if that feels good, getting a nice deep stretch. And gently release. Let's plant our hands, help ourselves back up. We're just going to step back into your downward facing dog. And then bicycle out your legs. And it's nice here to feel the difference in your hips. And when you're ready, left leg lifts. Bend your knee, open your hip. And make those circles with the left knee. And switching directions. Straighten that left leg all the way back up. And let's step our left foot forward in between the hands. Reach your hands to the sky, drop your back knee. Bring the palms to touch, sink your hips down. And let's grow a little bit taller here. So inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, sink deeper, open your chest, add that back bend. A few deep breaths. Saying hello to the right hip flexor. And gently drop your hands down on the inside of the left foot. Wiggle that left foot out to the left side. And then sink your hips down. Again, you can stay on your hands or come down to your elbows, whatever feels better for you. And just circle your hips. Pay attention to that left knee. You want to make sure that it's right over the left ankle. Switching directions. And returning back into the center, sinking your hips down as deep as you can go. And let's turn our left toes out to the left side. Roll over the outer edge of the left foot, letting the knee fall out to the side. You can bring your left hand to that left knee, pressing it away from you. Nice deep breaths. And gently release. And help yourself up and step back into your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to lift our left leg back up, step your left foot forward, and we're going to walk our hands to the right, sinking your hips down. We're coming into a side lunge. So you're going to take your left elbow, press it into the left thigh, rotating your right leg open. Bring your hands to the heart center. Take a few deep breaths here. sitting up nice and tall. If you can't take your hands to the heart center, feel free to hold the ground and hold yourself up. That's totally fine. If you want more here, we're going to have an optional bind. So left hand reaches out to the left side, right hand reaches up, and you can stay here or reach your hands behind you, grabbing onto those fingertips, pulling the chest open, and as you pull the chest open, continue to press the left shoulder into the left thigh, which is going to give you a really deep left hip stretch. And gently release. We're going to walk our hands into the center as we shift our hips all the way to the right side. So we're just walking ourselves over to the right side, sink down into the right leg, and hands can come to heart center. They can hold you up, whatever feels best. Either way, you're trying to rotate that right leg open, sitting up nice and tall. You can have your heel up or heel down. And let's take that optional bind. So right hand reaches out, left hand reaches up and open. Maybe grab those fingertips. And then if you have your fingertips, pull the left shoulder back, press the right shoulder into the right thigh. Breathe deep. And gently release. We're going to come back into the center and just help ourselves all the way up to a standing position. Turning your toes out to the side, so your toes are completely turned out. Inhale, we're going to reach all the way up, bring the palms to touch. Exhale, sink down for a low squat. Inhale, reach all the way back up. And exhale, sink down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. 2 more just like that. Try to press your knees out to the sides. Inhale. Exhale, down. And last one, inhale. And exhale down. We're going to hold it here. Squeezing your inner thighs, sink a little bit deeper. Press the knees out to the sides. Feel your hips open up. We have 3 more breaths. And release, standing all the way up. We're going to turn our toes in so your toes are slightly pigeon-toed, hands to your hips. Roll the shoulders back and down, deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward, bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, find some length. Exhale, fold deeply, walking your hands back. Trying to bring your wrists right under your elbows, reaching the crown of the head towards the mat. Take a few deep breaths and think about trying to stack all your joints here. So shift your weight slightly into your toes and you'll feel your hamstrings open up a lot more. And last deep inhale. And let's go ahead and help ourselves all the way up. So come to your halfway lift, hands to your hips, and inhale to standing. Turn your left toes to the front of the mat, and go ahead and step forward. We're going to bring our toes nice and wide so your feet are as wide as the mat. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, sink down for a low squat. So you have both knees out to the sides, your elbows are pressing into your thighs. Try to lift your chest and drop your hips here. You can sway side to side if that feels good. Two more deep breaths. And gently release your hands down to the mat. You can start to slightly stand up, but we're just going to step back into a downward facing dog. And then drop your knees onto the mat through a tabletop. We're going to be moving into frog stretch. So if you have a blanket, you can put it under your knee. If not, you can just slide your knee out to the side. You're going to come down to your elbows, and you want your knees to be in line with your hips and your feet to be in line with your knees. You have a half square behind you. So flex your toes, make sure your feet are turned out, and sink down, get nice and comfy. We're going to hang out here for a while. If you want, you can drop your chest all the way down, relax your chin on the ground. Just really sink into your inner thighs. So double check that you're not far forward or too far back. You're right on top of your hips here. And just breathe. Also check in to see how your body is reacting to the stretch. If you feel your inner thighs clenching and you feel like you're holding yourself up, instead just try to relax Sink into the stretch, let gravity do the work. Good, and from here we're gonna just let ourselves fall forward, so we're laying all the way down onto our bellies. And you're gonna bring your feet to touch. So your knees and your hips stay on the ground, and your toes and your heels are touching. You want to try to have your toes facing up and your heels facing down, which will take a little bit of coordination. And then let your heels sink down to the ground. So this is a really nice inner hip stretch. And again, check in with your hips. Make sure your hips aren't lifting to get your heels down. You rather have your hips down and your heels up. And let's slowly make our way out of this one, so you can just roll onto your side and sit all the way up. Bring your feet nice and wide and go ahead and do some windshield wipers. So just dropping one knee to one side and then the other. And we're going to be in a butterfly. So today we're going to start our butterfly with stagger feet. So you're going to take your right heel and line it up with your left toes. Sit up nice and tall, take a deep inhale. And exhale, fold forward. Taking your elbows into your thighs, pressing the thighs open. So you can feel the difference of the stretch in the hips. Allowing yourself to sink deeper with every breath. And inhale lifts you all the way up. And we're just going to switch feet. So you're going to take your left heel, line it up with the top of your right toes, and then inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, fold forward, elbows again, come into the inner thighs, pressing your thighs open and down towards the mat. And inhale lifts you all the way up. We're going to bring both feet together, and this time you can bring your feet nice and close to you. Open your feet like a book. Roll your shoulders back and down, deep inhale, and exhale, fold forward. You can use your elbows to press your thighs down if you need it. Either way, you want to try to have a nice flat back here, reaching the crown of the head towards the ground, or the forehead towards the ground if that's in your practice. If not, you can stay up nice and tall. I'd rather have you have a flat back and be up taller than to be rounded and be lower. So just find whatever feels better for you. And inhale lifts you all the way up. We're going to take our legs nice and wide for a straddle, getting back into the inner hips. And you're just going to walk your hands out in front of you, reaching your chest down towards the ground. You can relax your legs and let your toes turn in if that feels okay. And just take a few deep breaths here, trying to relax the inner thighs. And slowly walk your hands all the way back up. We're just going to go ahead and come back into a tabletop position. Stretch each leg out one at a time. And meeting in pigeon pose on the right side. You're going to take your right leg forward. Square up your hips with the front of the mat. Wiggle your right foot out if you can. So the goal of pigeon pose is to get your right shin parallel with the front of the mat, which would look like this, with your hips completely square off. But first, you're probably going to have to start with your right foot more in towards the left hip. And you're going to be more square with your hips up, and that's totally okay. You'd rather be here than sitting off to the right side. So go ahead and just double check that alignment. Rotate that left hip forward. Sit up nice and tall for a few breaths. And let's lay our pigeon all the way down. So walk your hands out in front of you. You can stay on your elbows or relax your head down onto the mat. And walk your hands all the way to the left diagonal. And you'll feel that stretch move slightly more to the outer hip. And let's slowly start to walk our hands all the way back up. And we're going to reach back with our left hand and see if we can grab that left foot, pulling it in towards you. And you can stay here, or if you want more, you can take that left foot and bring it to the inner left elbow, reaching the left hand up. And you can stay here, or if you want more, reach your right hand up and back, taking mermaid pose, clasping the fingers, and then press the hands away from you, sending your gaze up.
No.
And gently release the hands. We're going to take the left knee and bring it forward and connect it to the right foot. And then you're going to start to walk your hands all the way to the right behind you. See if you can drop your right elbow and then maybe the left elbow and send your gaze to the left foot. This is a nice side body stretch. And walking your hands all the way back into the center. We're going to swing this left leg forward and stack your left shin on top of the right shin. So take a gaze down and you want to check to make sure that the left heel is right on top of the right knee and the right heel is on top of the left knee. It's super common to have this bottom foot in. So double check and try to scoop that foot all the way out. So you should see a triangle here. Sit up nice and tall. If your left knee is really high, that's totally fine. You can use your hand to try to press it down slightly. And if you want more, you can fold forward, walking your hands out in front of you. Feeling that nice outer hip stretch. And walking your hands back in. We're going to cross the left knee all the way over, stacking the knees on top of each other. So again, if your knee's all the way up, that's okay. Again, you can use your hands to soften it down. If this feels easy and you want more, wiggle your feet away from you. And then again, we can fold forward. And slowly walk your hands back in. And we're going to take that left leg, and this time we're going to cradle the leg, so you can move that right foot out a little bit more for some stabilization if you need it. You're going to take that left foot into the inner right elbow and sit up nice and tall, and just cradle the leg back and forth, giving your hip a little bit of love, trying to sit up tall. And we're going to release our leg down, and this is the perfect time to practice our full lotus since our hips are nice and warmed up. So you're going to take that left foot and pull it all the way over to your right hip crease, and let that left leg rotate all the way down. So if this is as far as you want to go, you can stay here. If you want more, you're going to grab the right foot, and again, rotate the right leg down as you pick that right foot all the way up, and try to lift it up to the left hip crease. And you can sit up nice and tall, take a deep inhale, and exhale, release. And let's unwind our feet gently. And then bring your feet back in front of you, feet as wide as the mat, and windshield wiper the legs. And moving into our left side pigeon. So left leg forward, right leg is going to come behind you, square off your hips. So remember to find that hip rotation, pulling the right hip down. Sit up nice and tall here for a few breaths, feeling the right hip flexor open first. To make it more difficult, you can take the left foot further out, away from you. And let's gently fold forward. Option to stay on the elbows or lay the arms down. You can rest the forehead on the mat. And again, check in to make sure you're not clenching any muscles. Try to sink down, let go. Surrender into the stretch. And walk your hands to the right diagonal as far as you can, pressing your chest down towards the ground. And walk your hands back up into the center. We're going to reach back with our right hand, grab onto the right foot, pull it in towards us. Option to bring that right foot into the right elbow, reaching your right hand up. And option to reach your left hand up and back, grabbing the right hand, clasping the fingers, pressing the hands away from you, sending your gaze up for your mermaid pose or merman. And let's gently release. Pull that right knee forward, connect it to the left foot. We're going to come into our deep twist. So walk your hands all the way to the left behind you. See if you can drop your left elbow, possibly the right elbow. Gaze all the way back, see your toes. And walk your hands back into the center. And we're just going to flip the right leg forward, stacking the shins. So check in with that alignment, wiggle that bottom foot all the way out so the heels and the knees line up perfectly. You can see you have your nice triangle. If your knee is high, that's okay. Press it down with your right hand. Sit up tall, take a few breaths. And if you want more, you can fold forward. And slowly start to walk your hands in towards you. And we're going to stack our knees completely one on top of the other. And if you want to make it more difficult, wiggle the feet away from you, deepening the stretch. And then option to fold forward. So we just keep getting deeper and deeper into those outer hips. And walking the hands back in. So we're going to get into our leg cradle, so you can wiggle that left foot out if you need some more stability. Right foot comes into the inner left elbow, and wrap your right arm around that right thigh. You're just going to sway the leg side to side as you sit up nice and tall, trying to pull that right foot up towards your shoulder. And gently release it down, getting into our lotus. So right foot comes all the way up into that left hip crease. Let that right leg open out to the right side. And then you have the option of grabbing your left foot, pulling it all the way up to the right hip crease. And sit up nice and tall. Take a few deep breaths. And gently release your lotus. And bringing your feet back, mat distance. We're just going to finish with a windshield wiper. And finding a comfortable seated position, hands heart center, pull in with one breath together. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. The highest in me honors and respects the highest in you. Namaste.
You're my saint, you're my saint, you're my saint, you're my sensation. You're my saint, you're my saint, you're my saint, you're my sensation.
Hey guys, welcome to your hip release yoga. And today is going to be a 10-minute yoga sequence that's going to focus on opening and releasing your hips. If you've been sitting at a desk for a really long time, or traveling on an airplane, or perhaps even overworking your muscles through hiking or walking, you might feel this tension and stiffness in your hips. That's caused by the tight glutes and the hip flexors kind of working together and striking back at you, complaining at what have you been doing to my body. So this 10-minute sequence will help you release all of that tension, open up your hips, and leave you feeling a little bit more relaxed and free. So if you're ready, grab 2 yoga blocks, or if you don't have blocks, grab 2 books, a mat, and some water, and let's do this. Hips straight yoga. Alright guys, so we're going to begin lying down on your mat with your knees hug into your chest. So whenever you're ready, just bring your feet over and come all the way down to the floor. Giving yourself a big hug and a gentle rock side to side. And then extending your legs, flexing your feet, and reaching for the back of your legs, and giving the back of your legs a little bit of a massage here. And then from here, we're going to take our happy baby posture to really open up your hips. So you're going to open the legs, bend your knees, and reach for the ankles, the outsides of your feet, or these fingers reaching for the big toes. And then you're bringing your knees down to the floor as far as you can, and then adding a little bit of a rock side to side if you like, or just stay here on the floor and breathe. So you really want to think of pulling those knees down to the floor as much as you can. And then from here, extending your legs, bring your knees into your chest, and we're going to get ourselves all the way up. So bring your feet down, tuck your chin into your chest, and lift all the way up. Very good. And then from here, we're going to cross our feet, come up to your hands and knees position. Let's take a few steps back, tucking your toes under, and taking our downward facing dog. Stretch out your legs. And we're going to take a quick float and keep warming up that body. Chaturanga, knees, chest, chin. Upward dog. And downward dog. And then from here, walking your hands towards your feet and rounding up your spine. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Finding a good center, rolling your shoulders back a couple of times, and inhale, reach your arms up. And hands are going to come to center as you take a big giant step with your left foot and turn your body lengthwise along your mat. And from here, we're going to take what we call a yogic squat. This again really opens up your hips. You're going to turn out your feet, hands in a prayer position, and begin to slowly bend your knees and come down as far as you can. Ideally, you want the elbows touching your knees, and you're pushing your knees away from your body with your elbows.